Now we're cooking, or burying, or something of the sort. These are my assorted thoughts on the March 31st, 2025 WWE Raw. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean. I'm recording this Tuesday, April 1st. It's just after 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so it's afternoon. Therefore, it's not an April Fool. These are my thoughts on the Raw that happened roughly 24 hours ago, live from the O2 Arena in London, England. Like the last 2 weeks, it started off with John Cena music. I figured he was just going to come out, blister the audience again, lecture them, and Cody was going to come out at the end. They'd have a few words, and that would be it. But nope, Cody cut him off right away, and I was so happy when I saw this happening. I thought, are we finally going to get a proper promo exchange? Now, online, various places, people have been saying that they've been protecting Cody by not letting Cena cut one of his trademarked burial promos on him or cook him or what have you. And Cena referenced that and said he wasn't going to cook him. He was going to bury him, and he didn't bury talent. He was talent. He only buried the mediocre. There were some great lines in this. He called Cody his chauffeur. He said WWE trusted their most prized possession to the center of the industry, to my chauffeur, because Cody used to drive him around, but that was back when Cody was a young talent driving around the Starlight. They were riding together, and he used that real world fact that Cody had brought up against Cody. Cody tried to set him up with some softballs about his lisp or his tattoo, and he did bring up the tattoo, but he said it's not the fact that the tattoo's on the neck; it's the fact that the tattoo has your logo. And I'm now glad that we had the 2 weeks where he was just blistering the audience, because that gave Cena a perfect in-character way to blister Cody, to call him, like a wannabe or mediocre, or not quite there. Like your tattoo, you're just like one of the fans who we had already insulted. You could buy a fake championship from Fanatics, even mention their supplier, and go be their fake champion. Well, the real championship goes home with me. So he tied it into the other promos. There was obviously an AEW Cody line that I didn't even catch on to at the beginning when Cena said, I've built empires for billionaires. The most you've ever done is steal money from their kids. I thought they were talking about, buying Cody merch. No, Tony Khan, kid of a billionaire. But the thing is, Cena was brutal. He got some really harsh lines in there, but Cody held his own too. He said, I was, if I was manufactured, if I was chosen by anyone, I was chosen by them, the fans, whereas the only person who chose you was some guy in an office that's not around anymore, and we don't talk about you. We know who he was referencing. Like, there was also a lot of words that I'm even tempted if I should actually say on YouTube, but they said on Netflix, like Cody's line about you're still my hero, but you're a piece of shit. Of course, Cena was more, not using curses. He said words of feces coming out of Cody's mind, or in Cody's mind. It was blistering. It was back and forth. It was beautiful. It was exactly what this feud needed. Cody also referenced The Rock, which you kind of have to do. Yes, they did have some physicality at the end, and Cody ended up standing tall, just like one crossroads, basically. You kind of had to do that as a way to end this, but it's good they didn't go too much into the physicality. This isn't a physical promo. There's going to be plenty of time for those, a la Chicago last year. I'm sure we're going to get some of those, but this was a promo that was not only a promo exchange that was not only great in and of itself, but it justified Cena's earlier promos by referencing his now established hatred of the crowd. So it was important that they didn't give us that for the past 2 weeks. I did the first week, I thought whatever was perfect. Second week, I was kind of judging it, but now I realize it's good they didn't give us that for 2 weeks, because it really made this all the more special. The crowd was even cheering for Cena at one point, but clearly he's established that they're not on his side. So he set laid the playing field for 2 weeks, and then really delivered, and Cody delivered back. I am now very excited for this main event. Good job. Excellent way to start the show. Moving on to the end of the show. Yes, the main event was fun. Of course, Rhea Ripley and Iyo Sky were great. And Bianca Belair was excellent and actually very entertaining as the referee. She did have her referee fit on, which was great. And you see a little bit where she's holding up the belt at the beginning. It's like, good character work because she clearly wants that title for herself. Now, unlike the last Rhea Ripley Iyo Sky encounter where Iyo won the belt, there was some real tension there. I mean, we figured they were going to go for a triple threat, but we weren't really sure. I was definitely not expecting Iyo to actually outright win. This time, I knew there had to be some sort of messed up finish because I think we all know they're going to a triple threat. And yeah, we got there with Rhea accidentally kicking Bianca not getting up and clearly having Iyo down. So she clearly would have won. She had the visual pin for way more than 3 seconds. Same thing happens with Iyo, and then Bianca just disqualifies both of them. And of course, we end with Rhea Ripley standing tall, but holding up the championship. But of course, she hasn't won it. She, at this point, officially has no path to WrestleMania. I get it. I get it that if they had just had Adam Pearce come out at this point and say, fine, it's a triple threat, people would have been like, oh, well, that was like, where's the logic in that? I mean, you have to, and at the same time, too, the way they set up the end of the match was the only way they could have gotten to a triple threat in the future. But still, I just wish there was a way that they could have had Pearce come out and say it was a triple threat. The fact that we have to go another week of wondering they can't properly build this as a triple threat, I wish they could have. This was a fun way to end the show. And maybe in hindsight, when it does become a triple threat, all this build where it's not established as a triple threat could end up being a really good build for the triple threat. And I'm willing to say that for the past few weeks, and even if this week, but they got to announce the triple threat right away. Otherwise, quit dragging your heels on this one. We want the matches that we know it's going to be that. We just want the official word. But of course, they had a chance to show how this could be a really excellent triple threat between the three of them. These three have great chemistry together, and these are three of the top women in the industry. But that was a fun match to end the show, but please, let's pull the trigger on the triple threat sooner rather than later. World Heavyweight Champion Gunther versus Jey Uso went exactly as I thought it was going to go. Jimmy had some hope spots, but ultimately Gunther won. He was, of course, a bit of a dick. Jimmy was out. He could have pinned him, but he didn't. Wanted to give him more punishment. Eventually put him out with a sleeper. And Jey Uso came out for the save. Now, I don't know if everyone caught this, but at one point when Gunther was sort of like finishing off Jey Uso and posing, Jay's logo came on, the Titantron came on the screen and quickly went off. Like, oh, gee, I wonder if Jay is scheduled to come out. That might have been a little technical snafu. But Jay did come out. And it's never a good thing when they come back from commercial break and one person is helping the other person out of the ring while Jay was helping Jimmy out. Because, of course, Gunther comes back with the sneak attack, pulls some zip ties out of nowhere, ties up Jay, proceeds to beat Jimmy. Jimmy gets bloody at this point, and Jey Uso's trying to reach his brother to help out, but Gunther's not letting him. Yes, security do come in and try and stop him. And even though the answers are saying, why isn't somebody putting a stop to this? Well, they were trying, but it was Gunther. He was kicking them out of the ring. At least there was some effort for this. But obviously, this is just adding more emotion to Jey Uso's quest to win the championship. He doesn't need to just win the championship. He now needs to avenge his brother. He now needs to, and of course, still prove himself as he always said he would. This is some good drama. I'm wondering if maybe Sami Zayn doesn't have any WrestleMania plans. Maybe they're going to work him into it at some point. He's going to try and help out Jay, and he's going to get injured again or something like that. Maybe when they're back in the States. I think this was necessary. It was a bit predictable, but I think with a build this long with these two guys, since the Royal Rumble, they've basically been building this match, or a week or two after when Jay officially declared. The yeeting is not enough to give the proper build to this match. They've gone through all the stages, and now we're in the stage where the emotion's coming into it with his brother Jimmy. Unfortunately, I think Jimmy maybe will be in Jay's corner, but might not have his own match at WrestleMania. Maybe there'll be a tag team after. Maybe the Usos will both adopt the yeet as their thing. Even if maybe after Jay has a reign as World Heavyweight Champion, or if he was at this point, I'm pretty sure Jay's going to win. He has to win because of what happened. This was a necessary step in the build, and it was executed very well, except for that little bit where Jay's graphic showed up on the screen before he entered. Karrion Kross and Scarlett were talking before AJ Styles and Logan Paul came out. Now, I'm not sure if this was actually on the show because I watched it later at the normal time at 8 o'clock at night. Watched it with my brother, my friend. So when that happens, Netflix cuts out the stuff that they put during the commercial breaks. So I didn't see this on the show, but I saw it in recap. So this might have actually happened during the commercial break, but clearly I'm not sure if Kross is actually going to be involved in WrestleMania at all, but they've decided to pivot from him being involved with Sami Zayn to him somehow being involved in the AJ and Logan Paul bit, which is an interesting choice. As far as AJ and Logan Paul, I'm fine with this as a Mania match. I was wondering who was going to get the Logan Paul match. One point it looked like it might have been CM Punk. One point it might have been Sami Zayn, I was even thinking. But hey, you know what? AJ Styles? That's good. Now, I will admit, I was watching wrestling back in like the Golden Era, the Attitude Era. I didn't watch that much of the Ruthless Aggression or the PG era, and I came back in rather recently. So I kind of missed the rise of AJ Styles in the WWE or even this TNA stuff. So he never became one of my favorites. And he hasn't really clicked with me. But you know what? I can recognize that he's really good in the ring, and I can recognize that his promos are okay. They're not the best promos, but they're okay. And Logan Paul is a heel promo master. The segment we saw here, just getting the crowd to boo him, it's amazing. And AJ is well loved. So you know what? Yeah, there's also some physicality here, which was a nice touch and ended up with an attack. And yeah, it's been hinted at. Obviously, we're going with these two at WrestleMania, with or without Karrion Kross. And I'm fine with that. I'm looking forward to that match. Braun Breaker and Penta versus Finn Balor and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. I fear was a preview of a fatal four-way match we're getting at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship involving these four people. I say I fear because, no, I mean, these four are all very good people. They could definitely work together. And I think this could be a really cool match to watch. And it also sort of heightens the tension in Judgment Day, which they've been doing for years. They eventually broke them up and they brought new people in. Now it looks like they're going to break them up too. So yeah, it heightens that tension. Also, Penta and Braun Breaker, as this match was evident, Penta basically accidentally got hit. Braun accidentally attacked Penta without intending to. That created some tension between them. So yeah, it actually works. The reason I say I fear, though, is because there's already a fatal four-way match, I think, brewing for the United States Championship. That would be LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Braun Strowman. And there's most likely, I keep screaming, yes, they want the triple threat with the women, but that's just because it works very well. But then we also have the triple threat for the other main event. And if we add another fatal four-way, it's like there's a real lack of singles matches. And I think potentially maybe one actual tag team match, maybe two. But you know what? Even if it's a lot of four-ways, I still think this could be a good fatal four-way. So, and I enjoyed watching this match tonight, but at this point, I'm sort of thinking where this might lead. Because that's where you think when you're on the road to WrestleMania, when the matches haven't been set yet. I'd be okay with it. I just hope we don't have too many multi-people matches. The O2 in London, England was a perfect place to bring back the New Catch Republic. Tyler Bate, who had been out with an injury, and Pete Dunne took on the New Day. I do like New Catch Republic as a team. I think they're really good. I still really dislike their name. I thought British Strong Style would have been a better name for a team. But whatever. I'm not sure if they're back permanently, but this is definitely a better gimmick for Pete Dunne than Don't Call Me Butch. That was fun for about 2-3 weeks, and then it just became sort of tiresome. So I'm glad they're back. Yeah, they lost to the New Day, but that was basically to set up the New Day versus the War Raiders for the World Tag Team Championships. Now, given how much emphasis has been put on the Raw tag team scene, versus what's been put on the SmackDown tag team scene, I think if we're getting a match for the tag team championships, it'll probably be with the SmackDown scene, and it'll probably be maybe a multi-team match. I think we might get this match, but it might be, if it's not like next week or something, it might be on the Raw after WrestleMania. I I was kind of hoping for the New Day to take the championships off the War Raiders a little bit earlier and develop a rivalry. I was thinking with the Usos at the time, but that was pre-Royal Rumble, pre that becoming an impossibility, but against a good team and be the mega heels at WrestleMania. But I don't think they're going to be on the Mania card. Who knows? This match would be good on the Mania card, but they really have to do a lot with the build. But still, they are following the plan I thought was going to happen. They're just not doing it at the timing I thought they would be doing it at. And I do think War Raiders versus New Day could be a good match. That's also a way to get the War Raiders more over as baby faces, put them against the hated heels that are the New Day. And these were my assorted thoughts on the March 31st, 2025 WWE Raw. From the O2 Arena in London, England, the end of the European tour. I know this tour was pretty much built around John Cena's filming schedule. From what I understand, that's why they did this. But you know what? Others have not been as happy about this. I think this was a really fun little tour on the road to WrestleMania. They're going to do another one at a different time of year. So yeah, these European tours, I'm all for it. Different time zones. I don't mind sometimes watching in the afternoon or staying offline and watching a little bit later. It's also good for the people in Europe. WWE is going more international. So by doing these tours, they're hopefully increasing their international audience, which is what Netflix wants. Did you agree with my assorted thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. And also jasoncmclean.bsky.social, my newest social media, the Blue Sky account. Also, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. You'll get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, WWE Premium Live Event prediction and review videos, wrestling opinion pieces, a new type of content we're coming out with. We're still working on that. And, of course, assorted thoughts on SmackDown and Raw. I will be back, if I'm not back sooner, with my assorted thoughts on SmackDown. Until then, for Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.